Pig hybrids. Plug and play body parts, 3D printable organs. Yeah, that's right. Welcome to the New World Order, where it actually gets kind of cool this way if you think about it. Now, do you know anybody personally that needed an organ transplant and got put on some list, and by the time they had a chance to get that organ, it was too late? Or maybe you know somebody that needed an organ and didn't have an opportunity to because of their lifestyle or habits, or because of the percentage that the hospitals and the doctors gave them to live after the transplant. Or did they not have enough money, not have good enough insurance? There's so many variables there. And the information I'm about to share with you was released from National Geographic, where there is an incredible article. You can watch this amazing video also that shows these lungs that have been grown with human pig DNA, essentially. And they could do plug and play right now with these organs, where if somebody needed lungs, they could take those lungs, put them in that person's body, and have a continuation of life. I mean, it's absolutely incredible. And if you think about the outcome and the consequences, I should say, of what this technology would do to the pharmaceutical industries, to the organ harvester businesses, especially. I had a whistleblower on Leak Project about a year ago, incredible person. I mean, he spent much of his life as a whistleblower exposing these businesses, big business that profits millions, hundreds of millions, billions of dollars as a collective whole on getting somebody's organs and taking them from a person that is, in all reality, oftentimes, not always, but oftentimes still alive to a degree. Well, let's classify that person as brain dead as soon as possible, get the organs, get them to somebody else that's got the money, and voila, there you go. I mean, have you looked on, you can actually look up specifically how much certain organs go for in the medical industry, in the medical industrial mafia military complex. It's astonishing. So I'm going to show a few images and actually break down some of these companies and big businesses that are taking humans and pigs and combining them and creating organs. So it's just fascinating stuff. At the same time, what are the moral consequences? And if you've got a pig human organ in your body, does that make you into more of a pig? Haha, very funny, right? Are you going to have these weird animalistic instincts you didn't have before? Have you ever heard the stories where somebody gets an organ transplant from somebody that had certain fetishes or maybe had certain issues, and then that gets implanted into the person that actually gets the organ? The DNA, oftentimes people break that down into information packets. So a lot of stuff and variables and things to think about. And let me ask you this too. Let me show you this image. I'm going to turn off my video here. Here you go. So take a look at this right now. What we're looking at here are multiple headlines that have been created on the media front here. Human pig hybrid created in the lab. Here are the facts. That's the National Geographic article that I was referring to. Great article, by the way. And then here's another one on Science Alert. The first human pig hybrid embryo has been created in the lab. Embryos that are human pig hybrids offer hope for patients. Let's go to this one right here. Now, this is a picture of this human pig embryo. Credit to National Geographic. Now, I'm going to go show you some 3D printers that are available on the commercial market and the consumer market right now. These printers are pretty cool. They're still kind of in the beginner stages, I feel, even though they've been out now, some of them for 10 years and longer. Yet they're not really advanced enough, in my opinion, to just go buy one and not have any issues with it. Just put in, okay, I want to print up that car part for my minivan, and boom, it's done. You still need some more knowledge about it. You got to get the schematics, the blueprints, the software, etc. And it's still kind of trial and error. But they're working on these printers now as far as organic bioprinting, where a while back there, I had some money in a company called Organavo, some stocks, and I kind of fell into the 3D hype there for a while when the stock market was doing really good in that sector. And this Organavo company essentially says that they're printing up these 3D liver assays that are used in clinical testing for pharmaceutical companies. So they can test drugs and specific elements on these liver assays, and it will act somewhat as a liver for a certain amount of time, so then they can decide what the side effects, the pros and cons, etc., are of the pharmaceutical drugs. Now, it's getting to a whole new level with colleges like Wake Forest, where researchers are actually successfully printing body parts. And I took some notes here. Let me read this to you real quick. This is a quote from Dr. Lars Birdford, University of Maryland. Quote, at this point, they would have no problem to produce those lungs as replacements for human beings. Now, let me show you what these lungs look like real quick. Let me turn this off. Look at that. Those lungs have been modified with human genes. They're human pig genes, essentially. And the doctor slash researcher goes on to say that this right now is a plug and play. At this point, they would have no problem to produce those lungs as replacements for human lungs. Then the article in National Geographic goes on to say, one day these could be used and no more waiting for a transplant donor. One day, why not now? The technology's there. Why isn't the money there? Can you imagine what would happen to Big Pharma? When many people get organ transplants, they have to take these specific drugs the rest of their life. Because if they don't, their body will reject the organ because it's not from the same DNA. Now let me read another quote here. This is off of 3dprint.com. I'll leave the article here. We make ears the size of baby ears. We make jawbones the size of human jawbones, said Anthony Atala, MD, director of the Wake Forest Institute for Regenerative Medicine, W firm. We are printing all kinds of things. How fantastic is that? Will we see this in the next 5-10 years being released and becoming readily available? I mean, what if your doctor could literally print up a body part or an organ for you on demand? Who is that going to be available? Who's going to have access to this stuff? I think this is just fascinating. This is the kind of stuff that it blows my mind, literally, because in all reality, this technology should have been available years ago. How about the guy that actually, let me show you another pretty cool article. You remember the guy that actually regrew his finger, essentially out of his house? You can read an article about it that goes way back into 2008, Popular Science. There's plenty of articles out there. Powdered pig bladder was the magical pixie dust used to regrow this guy's finger. Why stop there? And why isn't this readily available for people that have lost a leg, lost a finger, lost a hand, need an organ transplant? What about somebody that was in the military, got their legs blown off? What about somebody that was in a car accident because a drunk driver nailed them and they're in a wheelchair? What about somebody that just needs help? Shouldn't this be readily available? With the hundreds of billions, if not trillions of dollars that have been spent into blowing shit up, why not put the same amount of money into fixing things, making things right? Why not put 1/10 of the money that's used to destroy things into saving things, into creating, into balance, into harmony, into peace, into love, into helping others? What is it going to take to wake people up? How many people do you know that literally are on multiple pharmaceutical drugs because the doctor has prescribed them those specific drugs? And oftentimes they get prescribed those drugs because of diseases they have from the environment, the pollution in the environment, the pollution that was injected in them as a disguised salvation, essentially, as a disguised barrier to protect them, all the lies and deceit. Then I ask you this, is it meant to be a world of peace, harmony, and balance? Or is this world specifically designed to be completely polar opposite / boot camp / you make it through this, the next level, you are a warrior, you are a Jedi, you are one in this level. Just to make it to this level, you are one. Now, what can we do right now with the momentum in our favor to get these type of technologies readily available for the masses and change industries, literally change industries? Think about that for a minute. What if you could change, if you had an opportunity, one industry, you have a chance to make one huge impact in your life, what is that going to be? How are you going to do it? How are you going to be the change that you want to see? Subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/ClientDestinTimeLord. Support our sponsors, GetTheT.com, a bounty of awesome health products that are designed to help people. Noble Gold Investments, precious metals. Break out of the grid as much as you can if you want to. Foodforliberty.com/RexBear. Incredible, organic, 25-year plus shelf life. Food that doesn't taste like camping gear. Thanks for listening. Leave your information in the comment section. Question everything and be the change you want to see. Human-pig hybrids. Plug-and-play body parts, 3D printable organs. Yeah, that's right. Welcome to the New World Order, where it actually gets kind of cool this way if you think about it. Now, do you know anybody personally that needed an organ transplant and got put on some list, and by the time they had a chance to get that organ, it was too late? Or maybe you know somebody that needed an organ and didn't have an opportunity to because of their lifestyle or habits, or because of the percentage that the hospitals and the doctors gave them to live after the transplant. Or did they not have enough money, not have good enough insurance? There's so many variables there. And the information I'm about to share with you was released from National Geographic, where there is an incredible article. You can watch this amazing video also that shows these lungs that have been grown with human pig DNA, essentially. And they could do plug and play right now with these organs, where if somebody needed lungs, they could take those lungs, put them in that person's body, and have a continuation of life. I mean, it's absolutely incredible. And if you think about the outcome and the consequences, I should say, of what this technology would do to the pharmaceutical industries, to the organ harvester businesses, especially. I had a whistleblower on Leak Project about a year ago, incredible person. I mean, he spent much of his life as a whistleblower exposing these businesses, big business that profits millions, hundreds of millions, billions of dollars as a collective whole on